Hey friends, it's me, Amy Rebecca, your internet bestie for all things personal development, intentional living and dream chasing, and I am here with my fourth and final quarterly Empties update for 2023. It's all about the trash, baby! Shout out to our regular members of the Trash Appreciation Society, and for those of you who are new, let me set the stage. The reason I share my Empties videos and my project pan updates is, well, honestly it's partly because I have OCD and it scratches some weird kind of itch for me, but it's also because up until a few years ago, I used to be the ultimate cosmetics consumer. Hand creams and lotions and face creams stashed under my bed in boxes so I didn't even know what I had anymore. I was spending, I was gonna say hundreds, no girl, be real, thousands of pounds piling up a hoard of cosmetics, like some kind of doomsday beauty bunker situation. In 2020, I did a no buy year and I started my big makeup use up. The rule was basically you cannot go out and buy a new beauty product until you've used up all of that same type of beauty product. I was so out of touch and had so little concept of how long like a single blush lasts, for instance, or a lipstick, because I was so used to buying more and more before I ever used anything up, that I thought that this big makeup use up would last for maybe 6 or 7 months. We're 3 years in and we're still going. So today we're going to be rummaging through the last of my trash for 2023, and I'm going to be sharing some pretty horrifying statistics with you from the end from my big old spreadsheet. I'm going to be giving you the value of all of the beauty products I used up this year, as well as sharing how much I've spent on replacement products. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. That would be like a nice little early Christmas present for me. And let's jump into the trash. Oh, we're gonna start with one of my favorite products. I love you so much. This is the Coco and Eve Like a Virgin hair mask. I know you see it over social media all the time, but I am telling you right now, this stuff truly lives up to the hype. People always ask me for recommendations for hair products and I'm always like, you guys, what a compliment. But this would be my #1 recommendation. This is the place where I would start because that's where you're going to see the biggest bang for your buck and the most amount of change in the texture and the shininess and the overall quality of your hair. Next, we got something a little bit new, a little bit different. These were the Garnier Skin Active Moisture Bomb Eye Sheet Masks. They're the little patches that you put underneath your eyes. Honestly, I feel kind of meh about this. I love the idea of these under eye patches. I want my under eyes to be as moisturized as possible. I want them to be just seeping with moisture, if that's an option. Actually, that sounds a little bit gross. I don't think I want that. But my under eyes tend to get very dry, and you know, as you get older, those fine lines, not so fine. This just didn't hit the spot for me. It was fine. It was okay. Maybe I would buy it again, but it didn't blow me away. Next, I used up another cleanser. This is the Superdrug's own Tea Tree Foaming Facial Wash. And 2023 really did turn out to be the year of me trying every available own brand foaming cleanser. This must have been like the 4th or 5th one that I've tried this year, and I didn't like it. I haven't liked any of them. I can't remember what specifically about this one I didn't like, because at this point I've tried so many, they've all kind of merged into one. Yeah, I just know that I won't be repurchasing it, and I am still on the lookout for my next favorite cleanser. This next one is a little bit of a wild card. This is the Opatra Skin Essentials Renewing Night Cream. Now, I want you to actively hold on to your chair before I say this, because this little pot retails for £240. I'm so serious. Of course, I did not pay £240 for this. There was some kind of super amazing offer on from the shopping channel, and I think I paid £35 or £40 for it. And ever since I bought it, I've been consistently looking for a similar offer to pop up anywhere online or anywhere in the world, because I would love to repurchase this, but not for £240. As you would expect for a night cream that costs £240. It was very luxurious. It felt incredible on my skin and I loved it. I loved using it. And maybe if I win the lottery or something in the future, I would go out and buy it again. But yeah, it's a little bit out of my price range. So maybe I'll just put a picture of it on my vision board or something, I don't know. Next, you guys already know, if you've been following along with my Project Pan series, that I used up this Fern Cotton Happy Place Energize Body Mist. I didn't love the smell, and I talked about this at length throughout my Project Pan. It's got lemon and bergamot with hints of mint, which I don't dislike as a scent, but it's not what I want my body to smell of. I like things a little bit more floral, and this was a little bit too fresh for me personally, so I just used it to spray my bed, spray my sheets, keep everything in my room smelling great, and I loved it for that, but just it's not a scent that I would want to wear on myself. I used up 2 more Wild deodorant refills. This one is coconut and vanilla, and this one is mint and aloe vera. I've been using Wild for a really long time now. It's got to be coming up on 2 years, and I still love it, still have no intention of changing deodorants. I wouldn't want to go back to an aluminium deodorant. This works really well for me. I love the different scents. I love how convenient it is to have them shipped straight to my doorstep so that I never run out. And yeah, I don't have to worry about like nasty chemicals and stuff. She says with a literal basket full of nasty chemicals, but I don't know, pick your battles. Whatever, I love these. Again, from my project pan, I also used up this Cath Kidston hand cream. It came in a little gift set of 3, and this one is the apple blossom and elderflower one. I think Cath Kidston hand creams are great. They smell nice, they do the job. These little ones are perfect for, you know, taking with you in your bag and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm a fan of that. Let me show you something that I am not such a fan of. This is the Revolution IRL Filter Finish Foundation, and I got some things to say. A few months ago, I switched up my concealer after using the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer for literally years. I switched to the IRL concealer, and I loved it so much I thought, maybe I'll switch up my foundation too. It was not a good choice. I see people are ranting and raving about this all the time on social media. I get that we all have different skin, I get that we all have different things going on our faces, but I'm truly baffled as to how anyone enjoys using this. I mean, you can see it's not even empty. It's not even close to empty. I think I must have used it maybe 6 times, and I was like, I have to throw it out. It made my skin look so chalky and cakey. I mean, I want you to really think back to like the early 2000s when none of us had a clue what we were doing, and we were piling on inches of foundation with our fingers and then just like spraying it with hairspray. Remember how cakey that looked? Pan sticks and the whole situation. Remember, like, think back. That is what this made my face feel like. And then it oxidized in some weird kind of way, so the shade just looked bizarre. And I know that I've got a lot of issues with colour matching at the moment because of my dodgy liver and the fact that I am jaundiced. No one makes foundation yellow enough for this face, but this was a whole different level. You guys know me, I will power through and use up products that I am not too keen on, because I actually don't know why I do that, but I do. I will power through even if I don't like a product. I'll use it up to the end. The fact that I could not even use up half of this just speaks volumes to how much I hated it. Moving on to something more positive, I used up the Ordinary Ascorbic Acid 8% and Alpha Arbutin 2%. It's a vitamin C serum. I heard someone online say that you need to be using vitamin C, so I did. I don't know about skincare. I'm not a dermatologist. I do what the people tell me to do. I really enjoyed this. I did, and I thought it was a really reasonable price. That is why I am drawn to the Ordinary products. I feel like the price is always really reasonable and the products have always worked for me. I have not repurchased this one purely because it was out of stock at Boots and they had an offer on a different vitamin C serum, so I thought I would try my luck elsewhere. But if I'm being completely honest, this one is better. I just noticed that my skin is a lot smoother and more even, like the texture is more even when I'm using that. By the way, I am aware that the lighting situation is probably a little bit crazy today because one of my ring lights is broken, the other one is in the process of falling down as I speak. The sun is in and out from behind the clouds. It's just gonna be a hot mess, and until I get new lights ordered in the new year, we're just winging it. Let's do some hair care stuff. I used up both of my favorite conditioners. Both of them come from Lush. One is the Power Conditioner. Oh my gosh, this stuff is so great. I hate the smell of it because it has cinnamon, and one thing about me is I cannot stand the smell of cinnamon and the taste. Especially at this time of year, everyone wants to pour cinnamon into everything. Don't put cinnamon in my coffee. Please. I need that coffee to live. Anyway, the fact that I've been using this for years, despite the fact that it stinks of cinnamon, is testament to how good the formula is and what a huge impact it has on my hair. I love it. It is deeply moisturizing, so I think if you have hair that's more on the finer side, it might not be a good shout for you. It might be a little bit too heavy, but for girls with curly hair, thick hair, this is amazing. And my other favorite conditioner, also from Lush, is the Golden Cap conditioner. It's a solid conditioner bar. I've been using it for a long time. I'm not gonna lie, if you've never used a solid conditioner before, then it is a little bit of an adjustment, and I feel like there's a little bit more effort involved when it comes to making sure that the product is evenly distributed, but the payoff is worth it. This makes your hair so shiny, and it really helps to calm down any frizz. I also used up another product from Lush. This was my Bubble Lugosi Bubble bar, that is the word. This was a limited edition Halloween one. He was in the shape of a little vampire. He was so adorable. I love Halloween. I love taking baths. I love the smell. I love the experience. It made the water purple. It was magical. I used up another 2 dry shampoos. This one is my favorite. It's the Superdrug's own coconut dry shampoo. I talk about this constantly. I only wash my hair twice a week, but I don't want it to look greasy and disgusting, so dry shampoo is a must for me. Similarly, I also used up 2 of the Superdrug's own extra firm hold hairspray. This is my favorite hairspray, and you cannot tell me otherwise. You could go out there and spend £7, £8, £9 on a hairspray. These are like £2.50 for the big ones, I think. Don't quote me. It's something like that. It's cheap and it's good. I used up this. This was also from my project pan. It was the Superdrug's chocolate orange self-heating mask. Now, I really enjoyed using this. The whole self-heating experience was a little bit different for me, but it was relaxing. However, I did come into a little bit of an issue. I didn't realize quite how much product was in this sachet. I used it once and then I set it aside to put into my empties bin. I knew there was a little bit more product left inside, but I thought it's probably not enough to do a whole other face mask. It was probably enough to do another 2 face masks, and then it ended up exploding over everything. I have spent so much time this morning cleaning up what looks like poop off of everything I own. It's been wonderful. We're coming down to the last few products now. Let's do all of the makeup products. So like I said earlier, I switched up my concealer earlier on in this year, and I felt like, oh my gosh, who is she? She's embarking on a brand new life, new concealer. Who is this woman? This is the Revolution IRL Filter Finish Concealer, and I love it. The coverage on this is amazing, and it's more of a matte finish than the Conceal and Define concealer. So what I like to do is to take this and put it everywhere that I would usually conceal, which also tend to be my greasiest, oiliest areas. So like my chin, around my nose, my forehead, and then after I pat that down with a little bit of powder, that really helps to control the oil situation. And then I use the Conceal and Define concealer under my eyes because this is a little bit too matte and a little bit too dry for that. I also used up a primer. This is the Revolution Pore Blur Primer. I think this is my 3rd or maybe 4th one that I've used this year. I find that this works really well for me. It gives me that kind of silky finish that I need for my foundation to go on top and kind of disguise some of the texture on my face. Also, it works really well under my eyes where I'm not starting to get, where I do have many fine lines. This stops my makeup from kind of really settling in there, so I appreciate that. I used up an eyebrow pencil. However, it is not my usual eyebrow pencil. This is the Incredibrow Define Plus pencil from a collection. This was really cheap. I don't remember how much it was. I'm thinking like maybe £1 or £2. Now I got this because my eyebrow pencil was completely used up and the boots that I went to didn't have a Revolution counter. So I was like, am I going to wait until I get to another Boots and just walk around with no eyebrows? No, I'm not going to live that life. So I picked up this one on a whim, and I'm really on the fence about it. On the one hand, the colour was perfect. Brunette 2 is the colour that it was. And while I was using this, I got more compliments on my eyebrows than I ever have. Probably because I generally don't get a lot of compliments on my eyebrows. going through my life. But while I was using this, people started to really like the way my eyebrows looked. It lasted a phenomenally long amount of time. However, I think the reason for that was because the formula, it wasn't giving. The only way I can describe this is, you know when you were a kid and you would use Crayola crayons, and then maybe you would switch to like an unbranded crayon, and it just didn't colour the same. It didn't come out right. That's how this pencil felt. It just wasn't very pigmented, and I felt like I had to work a lot harder to get it to do anything. But now I've gone back to my old eyebrow pencil, the Revolution one, and I don't think I like the way my brows look as much with that as I did with this. So maybe it's worth the extra effort of using this one. These are the big life questions. I used up another one of my number 7 Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced Facial Sun Protection sun creams in a factor 50. I go through so freaking many of these because I use this every single day. Even on days when it's raining, even on days when the sun is not out, even on days when I don't go outside. I've just made factor 50 a part of my skincare routine. So it's like moisturizer, factor 50. I don't want to be thinking, have I got my factor 50 on today if I go out? Like, I want it to be as habitual as putting on deodorant and brushing my teeth. And this has 5-star UVA protection as well. Seriously, I cannot sing the praises of this enough. I love it. Oh, and this is kind of a little bit of a weird one to end on, but I used up a bottle of TCP. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. I use this whenever I get a breakout, and I'm not supposed to eat cheese, okay? I'm not supposed to have dairy. I'm lactose intolerant, and it breaks me out in cystic acne. You watch, within the next few weeks, I'm going to have several cheese boats throughout the festive period, and I'm going to break out in the worst, most disgusting, most painful cystic acne all along my jaw and all along my neck. I know this going into the cheese eating experience. I choose to do it anyway. This stuff is the only thing that can help me. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it clears up that cystic acne overnight, because it does take, on average, I would say for me, like 3 nights. But if you know the pain of those really deep-rooted spots that don't have a head, that just lurk under your skin, those things can last for like weeks. I absolutely drown them in this before I go to bed. Not in the daytime, because it stinks. It stinks. But I drown all of my acne in this before I go to bed, and then within 3 to 4 days it clears up. And for something smaller, like a little pimple, sometimes it takes care of that overnight. And a whole bottle like this is £5, and this lasts, I think I've had this for a year and a half. Why is no one talking about this? It's incredible. Also, you can put it on mosquito bites. Okay, so now that we've had a good old rummage through my trash, let me share the totals of what I've used up and what I have spent. So first we're going to do the Q4 totals. So for the last 3 months, I used up £483.40 worth of products. I mean, you have to remember that the Opatra skincare was a huge chunk of that. And when I'm calculating the value of what I've used up, I always just go by the RRP. I'll just Google like how much the going rate for something is, rather than how much I personally spent on it, because I'm a couponing budgeting queen and I get everything at a discounted price. And I spent £147.20. I actually don't think that's too bad, is it? I used up a lot of skincare products over the last few months, and those are pricey to replace. In 2023 as a whole, the value of the products that I have used up came to £1,308. That's insane. But this year, the total that I spent on cosmetics, makeup, skincare, the whole shebang, came to £456.95. Which is still a heck of a lot of money. But there's a huge difference between those two numbers. And part of that, like I said, is because I'm just a budgeting girly and I get things for a lower price usually than the RRP. But a lot of that also is because I'm still using up products from my makeup stash, from my skincare stash, that have never been opened. This year I feel like I'm really starting to come to the end of my massive beauty hoard that I've had. However, we all know Christmas is coming and I will inevitably end up receiving a bunch more beauty stuff as gifts, so my collection will grow again, and that's fine. I'm very, very grateful for those gifts, because obviously the more that I'm gifted in terms of beauty and makeup and cosmetics, the less I have to spend. But I'm interested to see how all of that reflects in my 2024 beauty inventory, which I will be sharing with you within the next few weeks. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe right now. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss it. Remember that you are enough just as you are. I love you so much, and I will see you next time.